What is good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy King. We are back again today, guys. We're about to check out some common ground conversations, guys. This is Andrew Tate. Love or hate, guys. Let's jump right into this. Not wasting time. How we're gonna do this, guys? We're gonna watch every convo as its own part, as its own video, so that the video is not too long and it's not too chunky. So we're gonna do that. And yeah, we're gonna start with the first convo. Skip the intro because we really don't need to watch the intro stuff. You can watch it in your own time, but definitely come back and check out these reactions to the convos. So we're gonna start obviously with the first convo. So let's jump right into it, guys. Let's not waste any time. Boom, bam.
Andrew Tate, love or hate?
And we're in.
Hate.
Okay,
Because
I was
I can't say I
expecting
love him.
one word.
Hate.
There's no research done.
Hate.
They believe what they're fed.
Okay.
This is what it is.
So,
Slave mind.
One-sided demographic.
Tell me why, an open question for all of you, feel free to defer to Alex if you so please, but why do you hate Andrew Tate?
Slave mind.
Well, I've never met him, so I can't say I hate him as a person. But I don't like what he preaches, most of it. But it's hard to
What
come
is
up
it that
with.
you don't like in particular, if we would
You don't like what is popularized.
A property.
Most
Yeah,
of it
women
is
are
Even some of the
PG.
good things, he just doesn't go about. I don't think he goes about things in a very good way. I think he's quite aggressive, and he doesn't really hear
And
out
that's
other
planned,
sides
it's
of like, the
curated.
story.
And even,
Like,
like-
I'm saying hate, but I'm happy to hear someone who thinks love. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine. But I feel like, hey, if you're like, you're actually wrong, he's just gonna scream at you. Like, I don't think he's
Yeah.
willing to learn and learn other people's.
He's
thoughts
actually
and what
very
they're saying.
intelligent when,
And even, like,
he's,
spreading
when he's
that
listening.
kind of message
He
to
listens.
especially,
He
like,
sits
some
there,
of our
listens,
younger brothers are like,
understands,
yeah,
and
hey,
then
it's like,
disseminates
especially 'cause they're so young,
his knowledge
if
as
you
he
hear him
sees
say
fit
women are
to
property,
attack
we're a
every
bit
argument
older, we
you
can kind of
pose.
unpack that, get where he's coming from. If you're 12 and you're hearing women are property, you're not going to think, oh, but he might be being protective. You're going to think, okay.
Yeah, 100%. But it also means that you have agreed to be in this monogamous relationship with someone else. So there, by extension, that's the meaning of it. If you go anywhere else in the world, by extension, if you are a Christian, by extension, that's what it means. It means that you guys have entered a covenant, where you kind of almost belong to each other. And you're as much the woman's as she is yours. So. And this is for the monogamous people out there.
Like, younger kids who are on these social media platforms can't, they're impressionable and they can't think into things as deep as we can and understand them for, like, the two sides of the story, like older kids.
That's
can.
true.
And I think, just to be fair to Andrew, I don't think he's ever actually said women are men's property. What he has said is that if he was in a relationship with a woman and she had an OnlyFans, he would view part of her income as belonging to him.
If a woman is going out with a man, she
Uh-huh,
belongs to
that's
that
facts.
man. That's his woman. So she wants to do OnlyFans. She owes him some money because she's his.
That is you saying that women are your property.
It's
Call
not
it what
about
you
being
will.
property.
That's
It's
what
about
he
the
just
fact that
said.
She
Call it what
belongs
you
to
will.
him, and the intimate parts of her body belong
You
to
are
him. 'cause they're
together,
in a
bro. It's
relationship. If
actually
she
so wild that people are so asinine to just sit there and think we are not together. Like, I can do what I want in a relationship even though we're together. That doesn't make any sense. You do not belong to... Come on, there's some level of responsibility, some level of, togetherness, some level of like that is mine in a relationship. You can act like it's not, but it is. Everyone feels it. That's why people get jealous. So stop acting like it's not. People are just out here. Shut up.
He wants to sell those. He has a stake in those intimate parts of her body.
So it's reverse. Male porn star owes the woman.
I don't know, because I think the women belong
I don't know, bro.
to the man. I think the woman's
Yeah,
given over
that's
to the man.
inherently where you get called sex.
Yeah.
Right, so
See, he's a traditionalist, and this is the thing. This is a traditionalist. This is how things have been. This is how certain traditions are. This is how Christianity certainly is. This is how, Islam certainly is. This is how a lot of the, Hindu religions certainly are. So we can sit here and play games and hoopla, but this is, this how it's been.
which is
Can it change? 100%. Yes, it can. Yes. But other people's, like, the way they do things is also should be respected. That's the way they do things. For you to sit here and, like you can't go, again, this is a bit of an extreme, but I have to use it here. You can't go to, like, this is why certain, like, indigenous populations are protected. Because they have a way of living. And, people do not want to dilute that way of living for the sake of we know what's best. We're going to imprint what we do onto you guys. Like, no, you leave people to their own devices and to carry out life within their, on their terms and their, in their way.
I'm not
essentially.
saying that that's all that much better, but it is different.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is, obviously, as I said, we don't know him, and we also haven't, we don't watch all of his videos, we don't follow his
You don't do your research.
content. So what we see is whatever gets reposted to us, and as being women, we follow mainly women, and
It's always
most
the
people
negatives.
show the negatives.
Yeah.
So like when I had a
I
conversation
love that you're aware of that.
to one of my guy friends, he was like, I love
That's
his
true,
money
yeah,
and his
it's good.
business side. I'm like, well, I haven't heard that because I've only heard the things he said about women, which don't personally sit right with me. But that doesn't mean he said things that we can't say we don't agree with everything we said because we haven't heard everything he said.
And I think where all of us
Very
can find-
intelligible
like, I don't think any
young
of us
people.
would say women.
But even the fact that they say hate, that's very
men's
unintelligent.
property, I feel like that's quite archaic.
Good to hear.
Yeah, it's a good starting point. Hey, we'd have some trouble if that wasn't the case.
You say archaic. It's so. This is so funny. Like, these same people say it's so archaic. Like they're beyond it. Like, bro, you people have different beliefs, and it's so archaic. Like, bro, okay, like you have ascended past it. Like you in some next level of thinking, bro. Come on.
And I also share the concern around
The hubris.
impressionable
Come on.
young lads. We met some today who I was like, okay, if you like Andrew, is there anything that he said that you don't agree with? And they were like, no.
Yeah.
So I share your concern around impressionable young lads getting snippets that are out of context and then swallowing them wholesale because they might admire his kind of masculine alpha top G persona.
And like the ones that go viral, if he's like, oh, invest in like crypto, you'll make money. That's not going viral. What's going viral is him saying, if I had a woman, she's not going out with me,
Because
giving her
you're
permission.
emotional,
Like the things that are going viral,
that's-
millions and millions
it's
of people
because
saying
people get
are
triggered,
really
and if you
controversial,
are
what I would characterize
untriggerable,
as wrong.
then you'll be
things.
fine with it. You don't.
Is there anything else
oppressed.
that he said that any of you would take issue with or say, I definitely
Yeah.
don't agree with
Not
that?
that I could directly.
Or like the slapping,
Slap.
like, you know, oh,
That was in response to self-defense. He said if someone was to turn around saying, "Oh, you know, you have all these people you see, you know, I'm not gonna accept that," and they pull out a knife on him, he said that's what he's gonna do in defense of himself, to defend himself. So it was in a jokey context, and also it was in the form of defense. But he's about to debunk this as well, so he knows.
oh, the bitch, sit down, slap,
Let's
slap.
hear.
Choke.
Let's hear this.
Shut up.
Knock
Or
her out.
like saying,
I just don't think
like
like
a
that's.
woman
yeah.
can't go
Let's
out,
see if he's got
but
it.
like if he cheated and he still like loves the girl that he's with, it's not considered cheating.
A man can only cheat if he loves someone else.
And then that's where it comes into the terms and conditions agreed upon by the two individuals. Because if that was the terms agreed upon by two individuals, that it's open but only on one side, then you understand those terms and conditions. And then, like the whole NLE Chopper thing, the way he expressed his, need to have, different people. And the terms and conditions were accepted, but in hindsight, the person was like, maybe I shouldn't have accepted that, and they broke down, they broke out the commitment, the relationship, because they couldn't handle it, and that's fair enough. But
If I
there
have a
was
woman who I
those
truly love, and I
those parameters were set.
go out and fuck, and I come back to her, and I don't care about her, and I only love my girl, that's not cheating. That's exercise. If she even talks to a dude, it's cheating. Because females are emotionally invested.
Yeah,
A man
You
is
guys
is
are
not
joking.
sexually exclusive. It's not the same as if a woman is. Because with a woman, you have the
They can talk
paternity
to
issue.
people.
With a man, you don't have a
It's-
paternity issue.
see.
If I have 3
He just has extreme boundaries.
girlfriends and they all get pregnant, we know who the mother and who the father is. If you have
But
one
everyone has this similar to the same boundaries, but to a lesser extent.
woman and 3 men, you don't know who even the parents are if she got pregnant.
Also, how
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on
the
that
young,
one.
how he only wants young girls because they haven't had as much.
Yeah.
The reason 18 and 19-year-olds are
Again, this is one of those misconceptions where it's like, it's just an observation to say that, when we get to a certain age, like if you compare yourself at a when you were like 20 and compare yourself when you become 30, you inevitably have gone through so much more in life by that point. So the likelihood of you have gone through less and being, more refined as an individual at that point, to where you understand things and you're not carrying around certain feelings and certain baggage, jaded by the world, is highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. You cannot sit here and try and talk, hey, but in this one case, no one cares about the one case. We care about the majority, and in the majority, most people are not out here actively taking care of the things they need to take care of in their life to make sure that they're in a better position at 30 to where they can address the traumas and leave everything behind, or at least know how to digest things properly and to be still open to the world in a way that you would have been at a younger age.
more attractive than 25-year-olds is because they've been through less.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to touch on both of them.
Yes,
So
touch on it.
one, sorry, what was the point that you made?
Like If he cheats on like.
Oh
his-
yes, yeah. So the idea that if we were in a relationship and I sleep with other women, that's fine, but you can't. I'm. If
That is the high value paradigm. This is what I always say with that paradigm. That is a high value paradigm, because in every situation you have what we like to call you have essentially, it's balance. You have balance in every situation. So if you get into a relationship with someone of just a regular dude, the likelihood of that regular person having options is very unlikely. So the likelihood of them stepping out is unlikely. It's still there, small chance, but again, it's unlikely. So you have that stability in that relationship. At the same time, you don't have the same financial options as you would do to go on holiday and all these kind of things. But if you end up with someone who's high value per se, they have the monetary things in check, you have the problem of this person would like to exercise some of those options they have because they have so many of them, and that's where it brings in balance. So with here on this side, you have low financial options, but you have commitment in the relationships. In this other side, you have high financial options but low levels of commitment, as they like to say, in the sexual realm.
he again, if my
So it
sister
balances
were to bring
itself
him
out.
home for dinner, and he said that, I'd be like, get the out of my house. Right, so I don't. Now, I want to be fair
say it
to Tate.
respectfully.
He did say that the reason why he thought that was because men and women show loyalty in different ways.
Yeah.
And I can kind of see his point there, in the sense that if in a relationship where there are asymmetric roles or obligations or responsibilities or whatnot, maybe you could make a case for it, but still don't agree with it. With regard to what you said, now this is, I think, an uncomfortable truth, but it's unattractive for a girl to be promiscuous, and I think it's more unattractive to a male than it is vice versa.
All right, a brief interruption here to give some context
Facts.
to that claim. Promiscuity is a turn-off for either sex, but it is likely a turn-off for different reasons and to different degrees. With regard to those different reasons, as Tate has already mentioned in one of the previous clips, female promiscuity represents parental uncertainty for males. Meanwhile, male promiscuity represents the potential splitting of a male's finite resources between multiple female mates and their offspring. With regard to the degree to which such promiscuity can be a turn-off, males tend to have a stronger jealousy instinct in response to physical infidelity. Meanwhile, females tend to have a stronger jealousy instinct in response to emotional infidelity. The point
Facts.
being here that even though promiscuity is a
This is what we want: curated levels of content where they do the research and they have the studies in place. And these are some of the studies I've actually seen myself, which is good.
turn off for both sexes, the degree to which that is true for males and females respectively is likely to differ, and it's likely, at least in part, rooted in our sex-based biological differences. Onwards with the show.
What I can say is that a large majority of males find it unattractive to be intimate with a woman who has multiple sexual partners. And part of the reason why that is, it's hardwired into us, is because of parental uncertainty. So if I'm having sex with a woman on a regular basis and then she falls pregnant, but she's also had multiple sexual partners, I don't know whether it's mine. And so I've developed this instinct to be slightly unattracted to women who are more promiscuous compared to ones who are not.
While we're on this point, it's also worth briefly noting that only a high-value male, sexually speaking, as compared to a low-value
Facts.
male, can sleep
Facts.
with multiple women,
As I was
whereas the
saying.
same does not apply for females. That is to say, a low-value woman can still sleep with multiple men in spite of being a low-value woman. And this is because males are far less selective with their mates compared to females. And again, this isn't just a social construct. We can tie this back to biological reasons, namely the asymmetrical parental investment in being pregnant and giving birth. The reason why this is all relevant is it can be a social signal of high value when a man has multiple women who'd like to sleep with him,
Facts.
whereas this is not as much the case for females. Onwards with the show.
But I don't understand why we have to be, if we're young, we're automatically assuming that we haven't been as touched, you could say. Like, he's like, I want to be with younger people.
But
because
again,
Right.
you have to look at it from the phrase of you at that same age compared to you 10 years on. There will be, you're not going to tell me there will be a difference in the number there. It's just facts. There will be a difference.
And I wonder whether there's more nuance. Something that I know he's aware of is he needs to be more nuanced with exactly what he's saying, so it doesn't get taken out of
The way
context.
he's wording things, definitely. Because to me, saying I want to sleep with younger girls because I've had less dick, that comes across very
No,
more
he
focused
did
on
not. He never even said that. He said, in general, guys prefer that. He didn't even say him. He just said in general, guys prefer that. Again, they're attributing everything he says back to him, even though sometimes he speaks in generalities, and that's the problem.
Younger girls than it does on how many people they've slept with.
Yeah.
Because we're all in this phase of my truth, my truth, my truth, and people often forget the fact that there is a prevailing truth that is applicable to the majority of the population, and people when someone's stating what might be an objective, seeable fact where you can reproduce it with data and see it in the wild, in the population, they stick that and attribute that to people's truth. Like, well, that's your truth. It's like, bro, come on, stop playing these games.
I feel like it would just be wording himself, especially because he does have that audience, and people are going to hear young and girls are the two main words I hear in that sentence.
Yeah.
That it's very coming off that he wants to sleep with younger girls, not necessarily why.
Yeah, and also that it can be, what he's saying can be taken out of context and then it can mislead young lads, right?
Yeah.
So one other thing that I want to point out is that men, have you ever looked at a graph of when women are at their most attractive and when men are at their most attractive?
Mm-hmm.
Is it when they're viewed as the most attractive, or
by the opposite sex?
Yeah, and it was like women at like 23, or wasn't it? Or 21?
Yeah, it's somewhere around that range. Whereas for men, for men, it's much older. Women tend to find slightly older men.
And that's the thing. Like, no one bats an eye when these same people are looking up, saying, "Oh, we want this person who's at this age, 38, 35." No one bats an eye. But then when that same person's looking down, saying, "Okay, I'm gonna," it's craziness. And again, if you want to talk about it, hit me up on Instagram. We can debate it.
And so, I guess what I'm trying to do is take what he said and ask myself, is there a kernel of truth in that could be better articulated? I think one thing that he perhaps is trying to put his finger on, perhaps not so precisely, is it is true that men tend to be attracted to women from a younger demographic, around that 23-ish age is when they're most attractive, but then women tend to be attracted to slightly older men. And you can ask, why is that? It might be because of what we seek out in the opposite sex.
And it's like a biological thing, obviously, but I think what we should be working out, like, that's like been going on for 60,000 years. I think
yes, my lady. Yes.
Now we're at 60,000 years later. We should be like starting to unpack that, starting to like working on.
How do you unpack your psychology as a human being, your basal instincts, your brain? The only way to unpack it is for you to try and rewire your brain chemistry. That is not happening anytime soon. And people to sit there and think we can rewire our whole brain chemistry to think a completely different way, that is asinine. You need some level of robotics or some level of AI intervention to curate that. But that's not realistic. That's not fundamental, because we lose the fundamentals of what it is to be a human being.
On seeing each other, not as purely like, I know it's embedded in us to see each other as sexual partners. Obviously, you want young women because we're more fertile, like biologically. But I think we've advanced so much in our
we've advanced so much, yes, but the basal instincts,
minds, that we should be focusing more on each other's minds and reproduce.
No, but again, this is the problem, because to get these things happen for a reason. That's the thing that people miss. We need to no. These things happen for a reason. That is to produce the best possible offspring for the future, who have the best capabilities, possibilities. As people get up there in the number of age or whatever, there's more complications. There's more likely, damage to chromosomes, damage to DNA that can lead to, kids not coming out the way they should be coming out. So for them to say this is just asinine. Like, oh, we should, focus on minds and hell no, you shouldn't be focusing on that. It's obviously a factor, yes, but first and foremost, it depends on what you want, A. And again, if you're looking for a huge family, then that's not going to happen if you're focusing on mind and whatnot. That's ridiculous. You want to make sure the best and the brightest go forward. That's the only way to keep the human race at its peak performance. Otherwise, it's going to be a steady decline. Like
essentially,
and also saying maybe, generally men are attracted to younger women, not young shit's more,
Yeah, and that's a recurring theme, is that people who take issue with what he said, it's not always just what he said, it's more so how he said it. But I think also, in terms of a marketing strategy, he's done quite well for himself to get into the collective consciousness. But I think now, again, he's also realizing he has a lot of responsibility now that he's in the collective consciousness to be more precise with what he's saying. What what is like the positive side of Andrew Tate? Whether you've seen it in your brothers or whether you've seen particular clips, or like, what do you like about Andrew Tate? Is there anything you're attracted to in Andrew Tate?
What I like about Andrew Tate?
Yeah, what do you like about him, or what are the good things you can see in him? Or also, what do you like? Are any of you somewhat attracted to Andrew Tate?
No, I'm attracted to like the completely opposite.
No, please, you have a chance.
No, I like that he did donate to domestic violence and men's mental health. I liked how he does look for equality in that sense, that there obviously are issues with violence against women. There's also issues with men's mental health. I like how he's giving both of them attention, and I think that was good in the end, except that it took everything for him to get banned on everything for him to do that. But I do like that he did do that.
How about you guys?
I'm the same. I think it shouldn't have taken so long.
It shouldn't have taken. No, the dude has been helping people out through his entire life, but just because that is the part that gets highlighted, come on,
Like
let's not
after
blame
all
him.
his
But
social
again,
media,
that was also a smart decision on his part because it was a marketing strategy.
Business got shut down. That's when I think there was like an hour-long video or something, and then he made all these donations. I kind of think it's like you could have been doing that from the start.
He's been doing that though. He's been helping people doing that.
And please don't quote me because I don't know. All I remember saying was he said he has an issue with if his ex or a woman he knows gets with one of his friends, it's the friend's fault, not just the woman's fault.
Yeah.
He said something along the lines of that. And the only thing I like is because I think there's a lot of blame on women being passed around through friends when it's like the friend needs to take some of the blame. If they're getting with someone you were involved with, if they're a good friend, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
and that's the one clip I've ever seen. And as I said, I don't watch a lot of his stuff, but that's the one thing that came up on my social media where when there's actually truth behind that, and I like the fact that it's not only getting blamed on the woman.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, one last thing before I let you all go. There was a video circulating of him being physically aggressive with a woman in the bedroom. Did you guys?
Yeah.
So, and then she's recorded a response video saying, "Hey, that was just kind of our thing in the bedroom."
There's a video from 10 years ago that showed me
Oh Lord.
in a sexual act with one of my ex-girlfriends.
And I'm pretty sure not so many of you have seen the same woman coming forward with a statement saying it was nothing but a sex play. So here I am again for the second time. It was nothing but a sex play. It was consensual foreplay that we liked doing, that I was into, that I wanted. It was not abuse. There was no physical domestic violence happening. And I don't like seeing injustice of him being called woman beater for the same video that I've already once clarified. It was nothing but a sex play.
Do you still think that his actions were inappropriate, or do you think that
Ooh, snap! It's about to get spicy. Oh Lord.
girls like a little bit of...
Oh Lord, here we go. Oh yeah, they're about to straight cap. If they're sensible, they're not gonna lie about this. But anyway, let's hear the cap.
Rough.
I don't think it should be recorded. I think
There's consent involved. It's like, I mean, you weren't there, so like you don't really know. But like if there's consent involved and like that's what you like, I guess like. It's kind of like I can't like I can think it's like a bit odd, but like I can't really have like that much of an issue with it if it's like consented and like she's come out and said it was fine.
Yeah.
I just think like what goes on in people's private life, do what you need to do. I don't care. As long as it's consensual, it's between adults, you can do whatever and it doesn't hurt anyone. But recording it and it getting leaked without any context, it obviously looks so bad. People will see it, they see this guy that they idolize hitting a woman, they're not going to see it as bad, you know? So do what you want to do, but just don't record it and then publish
I think
it.
people are not gonna see it as bad. People are not that stupid. Come on, the majority of people are not that stupid. Obviously, there's a few who would be that stupid, but let's not paint everyone with the same brush and saying like the majority of people would be that stupid. The minority would be stupid, 100%, but the majority would not.
Without having any context around it.
I think it did get leaked.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm aware. Well, hey, thank you for taking the time to unpack it. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, that was a good video, guys. Let me know what you thought. Comments down below. Let me hear your thoughts, guys, and I'll catch you on Conversation 2. Don't forget to like, comment, and definitely subscribe, guys. And remember, don't forget to spread love and not WarCraft. Peace.